The neck came out of the rain before I understood what I was looking at. Too many bends for anything alive. Then it dropped and Noah's voice cut off mid-word. I didn't turn back to check on Matt. I just ran, shoes tearing over wet rock, while something the size of a truck dragged itself through the marsh behind me. That dam wasn't holding back water. It was holding something in. I knew before we even left the parking lot that I had no business being on this trip. Fishing was never mine. It belonged to Matt first, then Noah picked it up, and I just learned enough of the surface to keep showing up. If I'm honest, I can't stand it. It's a reason to be around the guys, nothing more. Watching them cycle through hobbies as we all crept toward 30 was kind of touching in its own way. At least somebody was still trying new things. Matt and Noah pulled into the lot side by side, parked across from me. The neighborhood around us was new construction, half finished, but a short hike from there dropped you into marsh, and past the marsh sat an old dam I didn't even know existed. Rod in hand, I climbed out to meet them. "Where's your tackle box?" Matt asked, already grinning. "Yeah, you gonna survive in just a t-shirt?" Noah added. I checked the little 5-diamond spoon tied to my line. Flicked it, watched it spin like I had any idea what I was doing. "This one's all I need." "Alright, big guy. Let us know when you actually catch something." Noah clapped my shoulder and waved us forward. The two of them fell into their own conversation almost immediately, replaying their last trip, glancing back at me now and then without really including me. Fine by me. I trailed behind, close enough to hear them, far enough to feel it. Eventually they slowed down to walk me through the marsh, mostly so I wouldn't fall in. "At least he's got the right shoes," Matt said, nodding at my boots. I did a little spin to show them off. We had been trading who gets clowned on since college. Today was my turn and I didn't mind it. "These run better than those rubber clown boots you two are wearing," I said, looking down at my own feet. "They're called waders," Noah shot back, a little defensive, gesturing at the gear that climbed halfway up his body. "You bring beer?" Matt called over his shoulder. "Obviously." Noah tapped his backpack. "You, Jack?" I patted my jacket. 2 cans, easy to feel through the fabric. "Fucking half prepared, I'll take it," Noah said, grinning. We kept walking and then the dam came into view. Storm clouds were rolling in from the west, and against that backdrop the thing looked even uglier than it probably was. Birds circled above it in slow loops. None of them landed. Years of droppings streaked the concrete anyway, like something used to land there. The chain link around the entrances had rusted so far it looked more like driftwood than metal. Nobody had ever explained to me why this dam was even built. The river running under it was small. Even during the wet season, it wasn't the one that flooded. Looking at the state of the place, I doubted the city knew why it was there either. They just never got around to tearing it down. Staring at it too long made my head swim a little. And the area had gone quiet. The mosquitoes that had been eating me alive on the walk-in were just gone. Matt probably packed spray. Still felt strange. "You good?" Noah's voice snapped me out of it. I shook my head clear. "Yeah, just never seen this thing up close before. Ugly as hell, but the fish here." Matt was already rigging his fly rod. "Quiet spot too." "I can make it quieter," I said, nodding toward the base of the dam. "You can still hang with us even if you packed like garbage," Matt laughed. "Nah, I'm good here. I'll yell fish if it happens." I hopped across the boulders lining the bank and claimed a flat one as my own. Cracked my drink open, took a sip, eyes drifting over the rust bleeding down the wall beside me. That's when I caught it. A red light blinking above one of the doorways. "You guys see this light?" I called out. Matt and Noah looked over at the same moment, then waded into the water side by side. "It's fine," Noah said, waving it off. "Probably a sensor." I grumbled and kept casting. Nothing. His explanation didn't sit right with me, but we weren't trespassing, and the evening was still warm despite the clouds crawling closer. 50 casts in, still nothing. I set the rod down and just watched everything for a while. The three of us traded a few words here and there, but mostly it stayed quiet. Strange, considering how much they had talked earlier. I figured they would either be deep in fishing talk or working me over again. Instead, silence. I didn't hate it. In that quiet, I noticed something. Just short of where I had been casting, the water at the base of the dam wasn't moving at all. Not rippling, not drifting, dead still. Darker too, several shades off from the rest of the river. Whatever that spot was, it ran deep. I couldn't stop staring at it. My brain kept dragging up every dumb internet story about amoebas hiding in stagnant water. That wasn't it, obviously, but the hair on my neck stood up anyway the longer I looked. On the line. Matt's shout broke the quiet. I left my rod behind and grabbed the net they had brought, jogging over as the two of them hauled a brown trout toward the bank, beaming like new parents. Matt dropped it into the net. Thing was massive. Nice one, man. I stared at it thrashing easily 2.5 feet. My turn now, Noah said. Mine's gonna be bigger. Matt released the fish back into the river. He turned away, but I kept watching. Even in the water it kept thrashing, panicked like it was still trying to escape something. In 4 trips total, I had never once seen a fish act like that. I walked back to my rock, turning it over in my head. I reached my spot again. Something stopped me before I could pick the rod back up. What the fuck? The still, dark patch had shifted. Grown actually twice the size it had been minutes ago. Had something spilled? I glanced up. Rain was maybe half an hour out. We heading home once it rains? I called, mostly to distract myself. No way, Matt said. That's when the fish come alive. Whatever Noah was about to add, I missed it because something else pulled my attention. A sound coming from inside the dam. Low, uneven, a thump, thump, pause, thump right around water level just past the crumbling wall. Combined with that light, it was obvious something in there was active. The sound put me on edge, but I had already learned my questions got laughed off or waved away, so I kept it to myself. Maybe they had heard it before. Maybe it was old machinery, jammed and grinding. I stood there a second longer, staring into that dark patch. No fish would sit in water like that, right? I cast anyway. Not because I expected to catch anything, but because I needed to look calm on the outside. Fished in near silence until the rain finally broke, still empty-handed. A few minutes after the first drops, the storm decided to commit. Rain came down hard enough to blind me. Jack. Noah shouted over it. Spare coat in my bag, grab it. I hated needing that. Dug the raincoat out anyway, already soaked through. Watched the two of them cast back out into the churn like nothing was happening, like the storm was just background noise. The thumping picked up again, louder, though it got harder to separate from the thunder rolling overhead. The river was getting rough. Water levels climbing just enough to notice. But that dark patch didn't move with any of it. Rain hit it and it just sat there, undisturbed. Don't tell me that's a siren tore out from the dam. I clapped both hands over my ears. It was deafening. What the hell is going on? We should not be here. I shouted, hoping it carried. I grabbed my rod and started shoving past the two of them through the storm. Fish were breaching everywhere around us, all fleeing the dam like something was chasing them out. Matt and Noah were still hunting for one more catch. Probably just the rain. Relax. Noah yelled back. Go if you're that bored. Nobody's making you stay. Matt shouted, nearly staggering from the wind. Then one massive thump froze me mid-step. A sucking sound followed and the riverbank itself started dropping. I spun around just in time to see the red lights over the doorways cut out. My eyes dropped to the water, the levels were falling fast, and that dark patch was sinking with them deeper, deeper. You seeing this? Matt asked, backing up slowly, already breaking his rod down. Yeah. Noah barely got the word out, but he followed. Guys, move faster. I started stepping back too, eyes locked on the dam wall. Right then, the siren cut out completely. Silence. Before I could even process the stillness, the darkness at the base of the wall surged upward. Through the rain, the water climbed into a shape that should not have been able to hold itself together. Run. I hadn't even fully turned when I saw it move through the sheets of rain. A neck, bending in ways no animal spine allows, black against a black sky. Something guttural dropped toward the bank and swallowed Noah whole. I heard his voice, muffled through it and through the rain, then nothing. I ran. My boots scraped and slid over the rocks but held. Behind me, Matt went down. I heard the splash of his waders filling with water, and then that same sound again. I don't think he even got a scream out. I bit down on my own and pushed for the marsh, something enormous dragging itself through the mud behind me. I don't know how I didn't trip once. The dragging stopped the second I cleared the marsh line, but I didn't slow down to check. Sprinted the last stretch to the parking lot, lungs burning, legs barely holding until my car came into view. I threw myself inside, hands shaking so hard it took 3 tries to get the key into the ignition. Rain and tears blurred everything past the windshield. I sat there for a second, head back, trying to breathe. The storm had gotten so thick I couldn't even see the dam from the lot anymore. What I could see were Matt's and Noah's cars, parked across from mine, untouched, waiting for owners who weren't coming back. I screamed the whole drive past them. I called 911 before I even got home. Nobody believed a word of it. Search teams never found either of their bodies, and a week later their cars were just gone, towed off like nothing had happened. I never had it in me to tell their families myself. The news beat me to it anyway, calling it a flood, A structural failure, 2 fishermen swept away in bad weather. That's not what happened. That's not even close. Somebody out there needs to know what that dam actually holds back. It was never built for water. It was built to keep something in, and it did that job for longer than any of us will ever know. I drove past it again last week. They've already started patching the hole in the wall. From the road, it looks like they're pouring it thicker this time. Like they're planning on it holding a lot longer than the last one did.